There was a time in this country when infrastructure was always discussed in the future tense, where highways were announced more than they were built, where rail projects stayed on paper for decades, and where speed was something we only associated with speeches and not with actual construction on the ground. And somewhere along the way, we quietly accepted that this was just how things worked in India. Then 2014 happened, and what really changed wasn't just budgets or targets or big announcements, but the idea that execution itself could become the headline. The deadlines could actually mean something, and that scale and speed didn't have to cancel each other out anymore. Expressways are no longer rare showpieces either, because from just 93 kilometers in 2014, India now runs on over 5,000 kilometers of access-controlled corridors, while the national highway network itself expanded from about 91,000 kilometers to well over 146,000 kilometers, with construction speed jumping from roughly 12 km per day to consistently crossing 28 to 30 km per day, while the highest reaching 37 km per day. This shift was pushed through programs like Bharatmala Pariyojana, where over 20,000 kilometers of roads were actually built, not just awarded, and logistics corridors, border roads, and port connectivity started showing up on the ground instead of in presentations. At the same time, long greenfield corridors began coming up in parallel, with the Delhi-Mumbai Expressway stretching close to 1,390 kilometers, designed to cut travel time nearly in half, while corridors like Bengaluru-Chennai, Ahmedabad-Dholera, Delhi-Amritsar-Katra, and Indore-Hyderabad are moving steadily through construction, showing a clear shift from scattered upgrades to full-length economic routes. And while roads were changing the surface of India, railways were quietly changing the bloodstream. For decades, electrification of tracks moved slowly, painfully slowly. But after 2014, the pace changed sharply, with 46,900 kilometers of track electrified in a little over a decade, pushing the network to near total electrification by 2025, and daily progress touching 15 km per day from just 1.42 km per day in 2014. Meanwhile, track laying and renewal crossed 30,000 kilometers, numbers that would have sounded unrealistic earlier. At the same time, modern trains moved out from just a vision to reality. They were built, rolled out, and filled with passengers, with over 164 Vande Bharat services running by 2025, and tens of thousands of LHB coaches replacing older stock, quietly changing how rail travel actually feels day to day. Then there are the projects that change how you see the country itself. The Chenab Bridge became one of India's greatest engineering marvels, not just spanning the river, but connecting Jammu and Kashmir to the rest of the country in a way people feel every day. At the same time, road connectivity in difficult regions started improving practically. The Atal Tunnel cut travel time between Manali and Lahaul-Spiti by hours and ended seasonal shutdowns, while the Sela Tunnel did the same for the northeast, keeping access open through stretches that were earlier dependent on weather and limited windows. In Jammu and Kashmir, projects like the 𝐓𝐡𝐢 Tunnel and the Sonmarg Tunnel kept traffic moving on routes that used to shut down for months at a time, changing how consistently goods, tourists, and daily movement could flow through the region. Along the coast, the Sudarshan Setu replaced ferry dependence with a fixed road link, making travel predictable where it was earlier subject to tides, timing, and availability, and turning what used to be a planned journey into a routine drive. What stands out across these projects is not how different they are, but how similar the approach has become. Work pushes through difficult terrain, timelines stay tighter, and connectivity improves in ways people notice only when it becomes part of everyday life. And then there is quite a revolution. The one that doesn't trend on social media as much, but matters just as deeply. Cities like GIFT City did not exist as serious global financial ideas before, and today host over 1,000 registered entities 20,000 plus jobs, and international banking and fintech activity, showing that infrastructure is not only about movement but also about building places where work and capital stayed within the country. Apart from this, air travel too stopped being limited to metros because under Udan, the number of operational airports rose from 74 to nearly 160, with 600 plus routes connecting smaller towns, hill regions and remote areas, connecting every corner not just physically but emotionally. This unbelievable infrastructure transformation slowly stitched the country together, connecting people, making logistics faster, trade smoother, and quietly driving India's economy forward, changing the way the country thinks about what it can achieve and untapping its true potential. And behind that shift is PM Modi, under whose leadership execution stopped being an exception and became an expectation. Deadlines began to matter and large projects no longer felt like open-ended commitments with no clear end. That shift has carried India into a phase where ambition is matched with delivery, where infrastructure is planned with execution in mind, and where the country looks ahead with far more confidence in its ability to build, connect, and move forward.